Right, we're out here. I've got an area where I have the tree guys drop chips. So if the tree guy has his own chipper, which at some point in time, if you do trees full time, I think you've got to have a chipper. It just makes itself, it's such a good investment when you talk about dump loads and how much production you can get, how much more you can get into a truck and everything. So they've been dumping, I've been piling this up. I've got my original pile, like one of the oldest piles that I started with, like maybe a little bit less than a year ago, probably a year ago, because I used a lot of it up to start getting our property like mulched out, our own food forest and whatnot. This is the oldest one I've been able to save. I've added some burned, some char in there, just from some different fires and stuff, and it's actually starting to break down nicely. So got to turn these piles later. I've actually turned most of them. But I am super bullish on compost, like super bullish. Let's take a look at this stuff right here. It's like got nice green leaves in there. Smelling good. This one's got a little bit more sticks in it than I'd like, but I'll pile that out. And nonetheless, been building it up into what they call windrows, and it's hot in there. Okay, I haven't measured the exact temperature, but when I've turned it, it's steamy, it's nice, and it's breaking down, kind of like this pile back here. Like, this pile's looking gorgeous. It's looking gorgeous. This one right here is only 6 months. Looking nice. So nonetheless, I am super bullish on compost. There's not enough of it in North America. There's probably, to my knowledge, not enough of it anywhere, but here in North America, we do stupid stuff. Like, we have these lawns, these big green lawns, which are left over from like the kingdom monarchy phase of human history, where if you had enough wealth and you had enough peasants, you would have a nice manicured lawn, because it would take so much human labor to do it. Now the average dude's like, oh, I want to live like an old king, you know, I got my nice green lawn out there, and they're mowing it, they're paying for fuel to mow it, they're paying for guys to mow it, they're putting pesticides on it, they're putting fertilizer on it. It's running off in our area. We're in Southwest Florida. It's running off into the Gulf of Mexico. It's causing red tide. We've got our state officials going like, well, it's a naturally occurring event. No, it's not. Like, red tide occurs naturally, like in little pockets here and there when you get runoff and nutrient-rich soil, basically, going into the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, occasionally, but we've got just thousands and thousands, millions of gallons of nitrates in our water runoff running into the bay and causing these algae blooms. Nonetheless, this isn't sustainable long term. I don't want to see regulating away green lawns and pesticides, but I want to see green lawns and pesticides go away. As a guy I follow on YouTube, I'll link to Pete's stuff. I haven't been up to his place yet. My buddy Jared's been there twice or 3 times now, so I've got to get up that way. He's about an hour north of me. He calls them grassholes. Don't be a grasshole. If you're one of these guys that mows and you offer service, I mean, I've done that too, and even out in my local area, like, people have lawns, and, you know, out here we're far enough away from the bay. No one waters his lawns. Nobody fertilizes this stuff. Nobody puts pesticide on this stuff, and we're 20 miles out from any runoff. I mean, there are ways, actually. There are ways. There's a river that runs past our development here that does actually flow into the bay, but there's no nitrogen or chemical coming from here. But I am super bullish on creating compost, because at some point in time, the US dollar is going to fall massively in value. Importing fruits, vegetables, avocados, things like that I've talked about, going to get expensive. And so there's going to be a huge incentive in the local economy to be like, oh, wow, the price of this went from $1 to $5. I should grow as much of it I can. There's just not enough material to grow. And if you don't start now, you don't have it in 3 to 5 years to use. And I think when we're going to really need it is like when we really figure out the effects of like all of this poison that we've thrown all over America. And the number one agricultural product we grow in North America is turf grass. It is absolutely foolish, but it's also the hike and peak of our fake empire. And it'll go away. It'll definitely go away. I'm not saying that every green lawn is going to be ripped up, but I think people are going to need to take up their lawns and start planting things. And I think that they're going to have to get compost of some facet. They're going to need that. And I'm just super bullish on it. I just think it's so underpriced. There's not enough of it. Even in my local area, like compost, I mean, it takes 3-4 years to make it. And maybe you're buying it for like $30 in bulk, $50 in non-bulk. Obviously, if you bag it and you do the math out, it's probably $100. But this product, in most cases, if you've got an area where you can set this up, you can get this stuff for free. And you can use something called chip drop. I haven't used it myself, but you can use chip drop, get it to your place. If you've got a way to pile it, great. If not, just get your own situation handled. This is for resale and production later on this winter. I can move these trees without harming them. So I'm gonna cut the root system when they go dormant in the wintertime. I'm gonna move these trees and make this a big mulch area where I can have additional tree guys coming and going and dropping mulch, and I can really start flipping and turning what I wanna do back here. But nonetheless, my message is just like, stack compost. It's gonna literally be black gold. I call my product black Florida gold or Florida gold, but it's gonna be black gold. There's just not enough of it. People need it. People are gonna need to grow, and it's gonna be too late. By the time the average monkey is like, oh yeah, we need something to grow in. Oh, my stuff's not growing well. Like, there's gonna be a short squeeze on compost, and it's gonna be those who have it are gonna be able to turn it for whatever they want. Like, it's gonna be one of those situations where it's like, it's the base building block of all things agricultural. And if there's inflation, which I think there's going to be, it's gonna go up. Like, all things agriculture are gonna go up. And so it's a way to ride the trend and benefit from the trend, as opposed to being on the other side of the curve where all of your goods and services are inflating and you're becoming poor, which is going to be most of North America. And there's a big agenda out there to absolutely decimate the middle class. The middle class doesn't really care. They're not rising up. They're not taking off their little face diapers. They're not like, hey, you're not putting anything in my arm. They're not actually rising up. And hopefully there's enough food shortages here in the next few years where people go, you know, this is getting ridiculous. And then maybe we'll start to really see sides start to form. And that would be very healthy, because we are at a point just where the Romans were in the collapse, where like we've gotten past rationality and we're talking about things that don't matter. As Chinese are like building the Belt and Road Initiative, which is the Chinese are the future. There's no question about it. But they're basically tying in their continent into Africa, into the EU. They'll be able to ship things through their Belt and Rail Initiative, and then they'll back their currency on gold. You guys will see this later, and it'll just wipe out the US dollar. Like one night, you'll just kind of wake up and we're on our way to being a third world country, but we'll be official. Like, we'll be official, like, has been power. And best case scenario will be like a London or something like that, like a has been, but like never again to return. And we could long term, but not with these people. Compost though, for you guys, like compost, chips, product is free. Even just using it and just helping people, going like, hey, don't color your mulch. Don't get plastic bag colored mulch and then throw it out in landscapes. Like, what are you doing? You know, like so many landscapers, like I really genuinely believe like the landscaper YouTube community could, if they wanted to, change the course of the American dynasty moving forward. Stop with the pesticides, stop with the grass holes, stop with the mowing, stop with the pretty ornamental landscapes, start growing food, teach people independence, get kids out there in the sun, get them the vitamin D. That's how you beat the face diaper disease, is you get the vitamin D. And like, and you get out there and you start growing organic stuff, and you don't pollute our soil. I mean, the American soil, even at the commercial level, commercial farming, the Kellogg's level, General Mills, it's poisoned. It's been so poisoned over the last couple decades with commercial farming that there's not gonna be enough good, nutritious soil in this country to produce what we're gonna have to produce when we can no longer consume as much from Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, this whole South America region, import what we do from the EU. Like, as our currency continues to fall, and it will, because they've got no plans of changing this game up, it's gonna be, the trend is gonna be like, get out of lawn care and maintenance and start doing like permaculture, edible landscape stuff. That's gonna be massive opportunity. I mean, if you look around your town, a lot of you guys, there's how many guys that look like this setup, and this is stump grinder setup, but how many lawn guys have that exact setup right there? 20, 30, 50? You might be like, dude, there's over 100 in my town. How many guys are like the edible landscape guy? Like, you know, Pete, I'll link to his channel. Like, how many guys are like him? Pete's blowing up. He's over 200,000 subs on YouTube. He's blown up. He's huge. He's shipping product all over the United States. He's backed up like six months, my understanding, on installing Food Force. He has repeat customers because he goes out and checks on their things, and he's an expert in his field. And Florida has an advantage. They can grow a lot of stuff. I mean, if you're in an area that's getting locked down, this and that, I mean, Florida's not getting more free, but it's less bad. It's less free than when I was a kid, but it's less bad. And the trend, I mean, so far the governor's like holding back the dam. Eventually it'll flood. People from Cali, people from New York, they'll change the social fabric of this country and this state. I mean, they're going to spread absolutely everywhere. But this stuff right here, I'm super bullish on it. Massive returns, off balance sheet type of stuff that people don't even, I mean, you know, like this is just stuff where you can have $200,000-$300,000 worth of material sitting at your place. If you've got a place, you can rent a place, you can dump your own stuff. If you're a tree guy, you should be doing this. You should be like burning out your own stuff if you can, mixing it into your pile. That ash and potash is good. Like turning it. You can even rent a machine once a quarter, every 6 months to pile your stuff, depending on how much production. So you don't even need a machine. You don't even need land. You can literally just start by like renting a spot, getting a spot for free is even better, and renting in your gear, and then just building it as you can. Like as you make sales, heading out, you know, then you start investing in more and more equipment. But anyone can start this. It takes 3 to 5 years to probably really get it going on, and I'm super bullish on it. Peace.